A Davidson County judge denied a restraining order in a lawsuit from city and county leaders seeking to put a stop to the deployment of the National Guard in Memphis. That case will go to a hearing early next month. In the meantime, many of those same local leaders continue to push back against the Memphis Safe Task Force's presence. We're joined now by one of those outspoken critics, Representative G.A. Hardaway, alongside immigration attorney Andrew Rankin. Gentlemen, welcome to 3 at 3. Glad to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
A news conference Representative Hardaway just wrapped up a few minutes ago. You were a part of it. Talk to us about why Memphis officials are suing the governor of Tennessee.
Well, it's pretty simple. Constitution of the state of Tennessee. And it's Article 3, Section 5 of the Tennessee Constitution says the militia shall not be called into service except in case of rebellion or invasion. It's very, very clear. You can be an originalist or a textualist, but this is in plain English. So our contention is that the governor had a responsibility to bring his reasoning before the Tennessee General Assembly, and we make law. Okay? We determine policy. He executes, he carries it out. He did not do that. So the lawsuit that we filed initially requested a preliminary injunction. Skrmetti, who represents the attorney, represents the governor rather, is the attorney general. He had not been served, so it's a technical aspect as to why our initial request for a restraining order was denied.
So, Attorney Rankin, how do you see this?
Yeah, I agree with GA. It's whether you are an originalist or a textualist, you can't change the words on the page. And I, in researching on my own this case, there have been 2 attorneys general who have specifically stated that a particular statute of Tennessee law directly contravenes the constitutional provision that GA just read. That statute says that the governor can, with advice and consent of the General Assembly, roll out the National Guard. In 2021, a Tennessee Attorney General said that doesn't line up with the Constitution. Mr. Skrmetti reaffirmed that 3 years later, but then 3 months after that, he inexplicably reversed course.
So you're saying things have changed a little bit.
Without much reasoning as to why.
So Representative Hardaway, where do we actually go from here with this?
On November 3rd, 1:30, we will be in court. We will present our case. The Attorney General, Skrmetti, will have an opportunity to respond on behalf of the governor. And in between then, we'll be talking about how unnecessary the National Guard is and how it's what we don't want, but what we do want is the funding, the necessary services so that we can have more sustainable, effective prevention and intervention methods against crime.
And Attorney Rankin, from the standpoint of the National Guard being here and of course overall the Memphis Safe Task Force, your concern for a lot of those, especially in the Latino community, is what?
Yeah, there are official reports, Alex, that have been released through the U.S. Marshals Service, but one aspect of this that is missing is data from the almost 5,000 traffic-related stops that have occurred, so that we can determine how many of these arrests are pretextual or not. And that is the concern in my field. I'm working several investigations concerning very dubious arresting circumstances.
So are we talking about racial profiling here? What are we calling this?
In one particular case, it is, as I wrap it up, it is just about a racial profile before, just based on the color of the skin of the person arrested.
And how concerning, how alarming is that to you, GA?
Extremely alarming. Due process is denied from that point on. If it's about racial profiling that initiated the stop, we believe that it's racial profiling. We've had numerous occasions where constituents have informed us of it. We know that disproportionately people of color, black and brown people, have been stopped, and that those have been the ones detained or arrested. And we want access to the data that the U.S. Marshals Service has collected, and we want it broken down into categories so we can make that determination.
So you're
That's
saying
part
show
of
me
what
the
we-
numbers.
Show me the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you'll have some people who have even supported the National Guard or Memphis Safe Task Force being here, and with the Guard being here now, they're wondering what is the real role of the National Guard, because a lot of people
Excellent
have seen
question.
them, you know, and I'm not trying to take it any away from their possible responsibility here, but they haven't seen them doing very much. What do you say?
They haven't been doing very much. When the National Guard was first mentioned, the governor said they weren't coming. Then he said maybe they are. Then Trump told them they are, so they came. But what we found is that there's a big difference, and we need to keep this in mind when we're discussing it. Big difference in the National Guard and that surge of the agencies. We were already making good progress towards lowering the criminal activity in Memphis and Shelby County. We had the surge of numerous agencies, too many, to be honest with you. So they're really unmanageable. We got traffic stops where we've got a dozen different agents standing around looking at each other. I was at the National Civil Rights Museum for the Freedom Awards. We had at least a dozen National Guardsmen standing there. I guess they were guarding each other because we didn't need them.
But on the other side, can they at least be perceived as being a deterrent to crime, just being here, attorney, or you just don't see the legitimacy of them being here, period?
Yeah, I think if they're engaging in an operation to apprehend a violent criminal or to break up some sort of organized crime activity, I think they could be properly used as a force multiplier in very limited circumstances. But by and large, my experiences with the National Guard rollout have been consistent with GA's. They haven't really been doing a whole lot, nor I don't see them having a meaningful presence in a traffic setting or a low-level misdemeanor arrest.
Well, keep me posted on those numbers as soon as you get more coming in, as we'll do the same here. Andrew Rankin, thank you very much. Representative G.A. Hardaway, thank you.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
you both
having
being
me.
here.
And we are tough but smart on crime. And we've got the legislation to prove it.
All right, a short break. Back in a moment.